What's up, everyone? Welcome to the Power Play with CJ. We're going to focus in on that awful call the officials made tonight on the no goal that should have been a goal in the Tampa Bay Lightning Montreal Canadiens Game 3 in Montreal. And, it would have given the Lightning a 2-1 lead in the game. They would have had momentum on the road. It would have been, Tampa's game to lose. They lose 3-2. The worst case scenario is it's 3-3. They play in overtime. And if it goes to overtime, you never know. That Montreal could have pulled it out in overtime, very, very likely. But as someone who likes seeing fair play, and I'm not knocking Montreal for a second. I mean, they got good breaks and they took advantage of. I mean, that's what you expect a good team to do. But to look at the officiating, it was abysmal. And I know you can't review the rule, but you can't review the call because it's supposed to be objective. But it was a joke. It's a subjective indiscretion or discretion, whatever way you want to put it, and the officials should be ashamed of themselves. I mean, as far as I'm concerned, they cost the Lightning this game. And again, Montreal took care of business. I'm not faulting the Habs for 1 second, but the Lightning should have gone out there, stole Game 3, had momentum, and had the possibility to come back to Florida tied 2-2. But unfortunately, they're down 3-0 in this series. Their otherwise successful seasons coming to a crash halt. And tonight you really can't blame anyone but the officials. And it's unfortunate. And I thought the calls, the officiating on playoffs and not just that series, all around. And I'm not just picking on any team. They've been awful. I mean, these are supposed to be the best of your officials, and they've sucked all through the playoffs. And the NHL got to hold them more accountable. I mean, strip these guys of future playoff games. I mean, there has to be accountability. If you're going to hold the players accountable for not following the rules, you should hold your officials to enforce those rules to the highest standard possible. That's just how it goes. That's how it works in the corporate world and how it works in the real world, not in Gary Bettman's fantasy land where his officials can do no wrong. And I want to see them. If it were up to me, they'd be reffing East Coast hockey, East Coast League games down in Charleston, South Carolina with South Carolina Stingrays. I mean, that's how bad it. That's not to be disrespectful towards Charleston. I love Charleston. But it's unfortunate that it's come down to that. But we'll see what happens. I don't think the NHL's going to do anything. I think this officiating crew will continue to officiate games through the playoffs. And, Gary Bettman and company should take a long look in the mirror and say, what are we doing wrong as a league? And, I mean, and I talked about this earlier, how can Quenneville get fined $25,000 for grabbing his balls, as, obscene as that may sound, and Lucic get fined only $5,000 for spearing someone in the same organ? Doesn't make much sense to me, but then again, what do I know? Unlike Gary Bettman, I grew up around the game, following, playing, watching. I didn't grow up in Brooklyn as a basketball fan. Not that I don't like basketball, but Gary Bettman was an NBA guy that kind of fell into the NHL job. So goes to show you how little he knows. Anyway, that's all I got in this episode of the Power Play with CJ on the bad no call in the Tampa Bay Montreal game. Stay tuned for episodes throughout the playoffs and beyond. Later, guys.